So today we consider another case of somebody getting canceled after things they posted on the internet a long time ago resurface. As always, the term resurface is an intentionally but dishonestly passive way of phrasing it. It makes it sound like the thing was locked in a chest under the sea and happened to lodge itself loose and, bubble to the surface. Sort of like in the movie The Mask, for any aficionados of 90s Jim Carrey films. In any case, the point is that this is not a passive or accidental process. Actual humans have to go looking for this stuff, and then they have to find it, and they have to spread it around, all for the express purpose of destroying the life of another human. And this time, the target was American Idol contestant Caleb Kennedy. Now, I must admit that I never heard of Caleb Kennedy before, and honestly, I didn't know that American Idol was still on the air. I thought it went off the air years ago, but apparently it is on the air, and Caleb Kennedy was on the air until now. The New York Post has a story, quote, American Idol top 5 finalist Caleb Kennedy has left the show after a video surfaced showing him next to someone wearing what appears to be a Ku Klux Klan hood. A representative for the show confirmed to the Post that Kennedy will no longer be moving forward in the competition. The singer, 16, posted a statement about his departure on Instagram on Wednesday. He said, quote, hey y'all, this is going to be a bit of a surprise, but I'm no longer going to be on American Idol. There was a video that surfaced on the internet and it displays actions that were not meant to be taken in that way. I was younger and did not think about the actions, but that's not an excuse. I want to say sorry to all my fans and everyone who I've let down. I'll be taking a little time off social media to better myself, but saying that, I know this has hurt and disappointed a lot of people and made less people lose respect for me. I'm so sorry. I pray that I can one day regain your trust in who I am and have your respect. Thank you for supporting me. Now, Kennedy's mother has come out and clarified that the video doesn't depict a Klan hood. Kennedy is with a friend who's wearing a costume inspired by a movie they've both seen. There was a movie called The Strangers Pray at Night. And sure enough, you can go look it up. You'll find, if you do, that the main bad guy wears a white hood and not a Klan hood, just a white, scary hood. And it also came out at around the time that the video was taken. So the story seems to line up. Speaking of which, Caleb Kennedy is currently 16 years old. That movie came out 4 years ago. The video was taken then when he was 12. 12 years old. He had to leave the show because of a video from when he was 12. Think about that for a moment. If there's going to be any controversy stemming from that video, it should really be that his mom shouldn't have let him watch a rated R slasher film at the age of 12. But aside from that, there's nothing here. In fact, let's pretend for a moment that Caleb really was sitting next to a friend who really was joking around and pretending to wear a Klan hood. He wasn't, but what if he was? So? They were 12. I repeat again, 12 years old. It is the height of both absurdity and cruelty to hold someone responsible for a joke they made at the age of 12. Insult to injury in this case is that very clearly the joke had nothing to do with the KKK. Caleb Kennedy had not a thing to apologize for. He hasn't disappointed anyone, let anyone down. He hasn't hurt anyone's feelings. And if he has hurt anyone's feelings, screw them, who cares? Their feelings are irrelevant. I'm glad their feelings are. I hope their feelings are more hurt. It is everyone else who owes him an apology. For doing this to a kid, for putting him in this position. And normally my policy, as you know, is to not defend any canceled person who apologizes. But I make an exception here because even now, the kid is only 16. I can no more hold him responsible for mishandling a PR crisis at 16 than I can for a supposedly but not really offensive joke he made at 12. There are things that we should hold kids accountable for. Things like, for example, carjacking and murdering someone, as those 2 teen girls in D.C. did, though the court system in that case is just giving them a slap on the wrist. Yet a sane society would not hold kids accountable at all, in any serious or public way at least, for jokes they make or opinions they express. We, however, are not a sane society. Or maybe that's letting us off the hook. Because I oftentimes, as a kind of verbal shorthand, will call things crazy or insane. I feel like those are the most common words you hear on this show. But really, oftentimes the things that I'm calling crazy or insane are neither of those things in reality. Much of this is considered and intentional cruelty. For many in the cancel mob, they get a thrill out of tearing somebody down and watching them crash and burn, even a kid. There are many in this country who are failures in their own lives. and they're lonely, and they're miserable. And they've achieved nothing of note. They have no talents. They have no skills. They have no ambitions. They have no plans for the future. They do nothing with their life. They sit around watching TV and on the internet. That's all they do, staring at screens. They live pointless, empty, despairing, awful lives of their own making. They feel powerless and forgotten and nearly non-existent because they're losers and the world doesn't pay attention to them and shouldn't pay attention to them because they have nothing interesting to say or anything valuable to offer. And so for these miserable, wretched nothings, the only way that they can feel an approximation of joy is to destroy someone else's joy. The only way they can feel power is to cut someone else down. A kid on American Idol, top 5, living his dream, achieving remarkable things at the age of 16, hasn't hurt anybody. And these people hate him for it. And were eager for any chance to cut him down to size. Nothing personal, really. When the cancel mob comes for you, it's not because of you, it's because of them. You're a blade of grass that poked its head a little too far above the rest, and these other withered little blades down in the dirt want to make themselves feel taller by bringing you down closer to them. That's what drives much of the cancel culture. Envy, misery, resentment. A tale as old as time. But there's also plenty of cowardice driving it too. Institutions have to bend to the whims of these losers. American Idol could have easily stuck by their guy, told the mob to get lost, and say, hey, listen, shut up. He was a kid. Just stop. But that would require some tiny semblance of moral courage. And that's too much to ask for. And completing the picture, there's also ideology and politics feeding into it. Caleb Kennedy is a white male. Anytime a white male can be painted as a racist, it's considered a win by the left. Whether the white male actually is racist is, of course, irrelevant. So all of these factors converge, and together they create the unholy concoction that we know as cancel culture. And for that reason, perhaps somewhat ironically, all of those involved in this are certainly canceled. Hey, listen, hit the subscribe button. Do it right now. I demand it, and I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.